saving that YouTube in the background so I can rock out when this is all done.
That's fair. Okay, so since it's been a bit, where we last left off, God damn it. I just said it and I just had it and I moved it. We had two of our adventures, what's the word, recovering from a rather deadly battle and deciding what to do with their fallen companions. Renee told Gale about some fake creatures that could possibly bring them back. You went to Aurelius and asked, and he points you in the direction of Xander Hamoa might know someone who brought you to his mother, who turned out to be Harmony herself. Who said she could bring them back, but nothing's free. And you managed to convince her that Ricky, if he was brought back, would definitely follow her. No question. So you brought, I think it was Ricky first? I think. Yeah, Ricky first. That's right. So you managed to bring Ricky back and convince her that to follow Harmony and be like a conduit for her or whatever she wanted. And Ricky's like, okay. And then you performed the ritual for Lyra to resounding success. And Lyra was brought back. And then, with two of your companions utterly exhausted from, well, being dead, you decided Harmony / Xander, or Professor Homa, agreed to let you spend the night because it was starting to get late by this point. And that's pretty much where we're picking up, because it was a fairly intense session, so it was a shorter session. Is there anything you're wanting to do in the evening before you actually rest for this first night of Lyra and Ricky being back?
Ricky, like, goes to bed.
Same with
Fair.
Lyra, she's
Fair.
done.
Lock Renee is like going to bed.
That's fair. Gail or Renee? Or,
Mostly
yeah.
hiding. Mostly hiding.
Okay.
I think Dale would probably be like in overprotective mode, like double checking everything, making a perimeter, stabbing her
It's the reason why
soul.
Renee is mostly hiding.
Uh,
Free outside.
Yeah, I'd say you're hyper aware enough. You can easily do a perimeter search and you don't find anything wrong. It's fairly peaceful in this little corner of the woods, it seems. Nestled into the trees. So when you eventually lay down to rest, whether you take watches or not is up to you. Let's say you guys can all easily get a long rest, and then Ricky and Lyra, you're down to -3. You can just it's a feat, so go to your managed feats, remove the -4, and then find Raise Dead -3. Oh. Hold on. I can do it.
Ah, I found it.
Found it? Okay.
Oh, yeah, I figured.
Okay. Okay, you don't need to click it at all. Just gotta manage them and remove it. Just double check that everything gets changed. Okay. As you wake up in the morning, it's the smell of what smells like possibly oatmeal or something. What would you guys like to do?
Someone cooking.
You hear Harmony's voice call out. Yes, it'll just be a moment. I'm sure you're hungry.
Wow, God is in the kitchen. All right then. Ricky goes for breakfast.
Oh, Lyra will sit up and go. The weirdest dream last night. Like, I died.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Wait. Oh no, hun. Do you not remember?
Remember what?
Is anyone else there?
Is anyone else there?
Looking around.
I am like on the roof behind the chimney.
Gale's making a periphery sweep of Harmony's house.
Okay, so Ricky's like immediately sweating. Some of it's like resurrection sweats, but also like a lot of anxiety. And he just looks at Lyra and just like a big wiry smile. Everything's just gonna be A-okay. Don't you worry. I think that you're just fine. How many fingers am I holding up?
How many fingers are you holding up?
Could you roll a perception check for me? It is 3.
Oh, 3.
Okay. You seem to be fine. And your name is?
Lyra?
Yeah, you're on a real good track there. What else would I... What was your friends' names? You know that, right?
Us, Gail and Quentin.
Alright. And... Yeah, no, you're fine. And you didn't die. That's all. Yeah.
I died?
Yeah, it's more of a we thing.
We died.
Yeah, but just you and me.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine, right? Like, you feel like that. Like, you feel that. Like, you couldn't really feel your soul now, or before, but now it feels like there's something empty in you, you know what I mean? Like, that feeling, I think that meant that we died. Or that's just, like, yesterday's supper not sitting right. I don't know.
Kind of blinks.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've never died neither, but, I mean, it's neat, it's cool, and, we're back, so, yeah, welcome back to both of us. He'll, like,
I guess this is true.
Yeah,
I guess a unique, not everyone gets to experience that, and then we're back.
Yeah, and you know, some rides, you just want to keep getting back in line. I feel like that was a once-in-a-lifetime sort of thing. And that wasn't meant to be a joke, but it kind of was. But I think I don't want to experience that again. It was great.
I think I prefer that too.
Oh, hey, how about I watch your back, you watch mine, but you don't have to do that actually. But I'm gonna try to make sure we don't die. That would be great.
Yeah, I prefer that too. I think Lacrimate might attack if I look a little too hard or stare a little too hard.
Right. Speaking of Lacrimate, where? And Ricky's like looking around, and Lacrimate's like not hanging out with him right now.
It's always lovely.
She'll turn up, I'm sure. She might be cranky. Yeah, because she died too, right? I guess it was the 3 of us.
She died when you died.
don't
like
know.
it's like a symbiotic relationship.
I don't know, because I was dead, but I think you're probably right. You're pretty smart, so you're probably right. Like, it was symbiotic or parasitic or whatever.
Lyra's just looking very cautiously around her.
You just
May is hiding in the shadows.
you just hear a small chuckle from Harmony. Turns back around with a couple of bowls of steaming oatmeal and says, it is good for you to look out for each other. I'll eat up." And pushes them toward you.
Like, you're a god, and you just made us oatmeal, right?
I suppose if that's what you mortals call me.
That's you're just so down to earth, and I love that. How is this oatmeal?
Pretty good.
Like,
Go.
really, really good, or it's just like, that's
I'd say, yeah, pretty good. No,
so humble.
I'd say it's one of those, like, it tastes like a recipe that's been kind of perfected over time.
Amazing. Yeah, Ricky eats the bowl up pretty fast, and looks a little bit queasy, but also for the better.
Alright, we'll jump out to, I guess, Renee and Gail, wherever you are. Gail, you said you're doing a sweep of Harmony's house, right?
Yeah, so the second that Harmony reapproached Lyra, Gale would just, like, immediately target lock, like, not leave those two alone.
Okay.
And upon being handed the bowl of oatmeal, Gale would immediately intercede and push the bowl in front of Lyra. Back away, but let Reki eat his oatmeal.
I was mine.
Ricky like is done his bowl by time that all happens, and she's just like smiling, but then the smile gets kind of like weak again as it starts to click, like there's suspicion in the air.
Harmony.
It's just Lyra's just hungry.
Yeah, Gil will pull out her beads, and just say, "We have oatmeal at home here," and she'll give Lyra a bead.
Lyra throws the bead back at Gale.
Gale will give you another bead.
Lyra goes for the oatmeal.
Yeah,
Gale does not want her eating oatmeal.
I think Harmony
Not if
just
it's to Harmony.
Harmony kind of tilts her head and looks at you, Gail, and says, "Child, what is the matter?"
It was pretty good.
Looked good.
You don't take a boon from a god.
Ain't that
Oh,
what
this
you
is just
did?
breakfast. This is no boon.
Wait, am I booned?
No.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
how it starts. They feed you one meal, and all of a sudden you've sold your soul. Look at Ricky.
But I thought that was a good thing.
I mean, your friend here isn't searched me because I brought them back from the dead, not because he ate some oatmeal.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope.
Gale, I think you're a little bit on edge since we died.
That did
And
happen.
that's okay, but this is fine.
Gale is just going to lean into Lyra while still staring, like, dead on at Harmony. And she's just going to whisper, "You can't trust Harmony, Lyra. He'll tell all sorts of lies."
And would you trust Chaos then?
I wouldn't say that either. Just don't trust gods in general, they'll get you killed.
Lyra just nods in understanding. Gets it now. She gets it now. Still going to eat the oatmeal.
Throw this out, yeah.
Renee, what are you up to? And you smell
I'm hiding on the
the
roof.
you smell the
Hiding on the roof.
you smell the wafting smell of the oatmeal. It smells delicious, wafting up to you.
Hiding on the roof. Self-preservation is kicked in. Can't remember what Lyra might remember at this point in time.
Lyra what? Oh yeah.
Lyra wouldn't. She can't remember anything, but Renee can't remember that.
Lyra was unconscious.
Exactly. Everybody was unconscious when Renee made his poor choices.
So awesome. So awesome.
But he's not taking any chances with Gale at this point in time. She's standing up to a goddess. No, I'm good. I'm good on the roof.
Okay, as you're kind of sitting there hiding behind the chimney, give me a second. Okay, D&D Beyond, you're being slow.
Everyone's games have started back up. The server-
Yeah, right. Like Twitch. Oh my. You just hear the sound of footsteps on what sounds like a wooden ladder. Does definitely, because you're trained to it, definitely does not sound like the armored footsteps of Gale. But as these footsteps climb the ladder,
Should stealth roll, but I'm rolling it. You won with the forest. You won with the chimney. You won with the chimney.
See these.
Bring around the chimney game.
as you're kind of hiding next to the chimney, you hear Professor Hamoa's voice say, "Okay, Fairy, I don't know where you are, but I know you're up here." Sorry. Oh, forgot that had a sound in it. Oops. I know you're up here somewhere, and would you like to talk? You seem troubled. The fact that you're hiding up here seems troubling. And I say, from where you're able to hide, you can actually see him kind of sit down on like the peak of the little cottage.
I will try to stealthily use message. I'm assuming you're gonna want to slide a hand.
Just roll another stealth check to see if you can mutter it quiet. I guess you're whispering it, so no. Just what do you want to say?
Just get it. Not good. Just covering everything, making sure everybody's safe, being on watch. It's all good. Nothing to talk about here.
Roll a deception check.
So you all wonder what happened that day?
I see. Well, it's perfectly safe in this general vicinity. I'm sure you would like something to eat for the morning before you head out. Whatever you're going to do.
Gas message again. Nope, already ate something out of my back. I'm good. Gotta be on watch. Those other guys are really tired and still recovering. Yeah, that's it. Hold on. I want to do something real quick. Yeah, I gotta say, my stomach doesn't rumble as I do that. If you're gonna call that a save.
No, it's fine.
15's good enough to save. I don't know. I'm kind of hungry.
You just hear the sound of him getting back to his feet, and you hear the sound of his footsteps on the kind of like clay tiles. I guess, or was it thatch? Whatever. I'll say the clay tiles. Why not? Kind of walking across the roof, and then as you're kind of hiding behind the chimney, because that's really the only thing you can hide behind is on the other side of the chimney, you can actually look up and see him peek around the corner of the chimney. I kind of figured you might be here. There's not really many places to hide.
Should have hidden the shingles.
It's not really a place to hide in the shingles, even for a fairy.
Yeah, that won't work. Damn it.
Mm.
That will though. No, that won't work either.
Anyway, he says,
I was gonna cast this guy's self and make myself look like a lacquerman.
Either way, he just says, either way, everything should be fine, but you should come back inside, because I think we all need to talk to find out what's going on.
They know everything I know. I'm just an outsider here. I'm just a fairy. I'm a fairy in another world at another god's house. I'm just gonna hang out upstairs.
He just says,
You can take the ladder away though. That way Gale can't get up here.
he just says, you'll find I don't like to repeat myself. And
Conversation by the fire, and I'll be able to hear it through the chimney. We're good. And I give him the little thumbs up with the shitty fairy smile.
you see him kind of wiggle his fingers in the air and mutter something under his breath, and then you start feeling a kind of slight squeezing sensation as something's trying to grab a hold of you. I need you to make a straight strength check. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Jesus.
Now the dice. And on top of that, I will. Nope, I'll hold that in reserve in case I need it.
Okay, so you managed to wiggle free.
And that'll shoot me. Once I wiggle free, I'll shoot straight off like 45 feet. Honest, good here.
And then you feel, you just see him looking upwards, and then he points up and makes like a grabbing motion, and then you should make another strength check. Fuck, I can't roll shit. Okay, 17. So this time, as you're hovering 45 feet above the roof, 60 foot reach, you feel the grip around you, as if like an invisible hand is there, and is going, and it's...
Instantly cast reduce to shrink my size and shoot straight out the bottom and away from it.
You're already, suspended. I know. I'm gonna say you're gonna have to make another strength check to get out, because it would just close in on you.
So much for that. Can I make it a dex instead?
It's strength against this. No, you managed. It's kind of like got its. It's like a fist is wrapped around you in a ball now. Only you can't really see anything. It just feels like a force, and then you just feel yourself being pulled downwards. As you see Professor Hermoa backing towards the ladder and backing down the ladder, pull with the force pulling along with you. I think. You're restrained.
Interesting Therese.
And he's just walking, pulling you in close to him, and then he just starts walking with his hand held out as if he's holding something, and starts walking towards the door of the cottage. You doing anything, Renee?
Give me a second, I'm thinking.
Okay.
I'm weighing in my mind the wording my protests. He's an old man, right?
He looks like he's 30s, 40s. That's what he looks like.
I didn't know if he looked like like he was 60 or 80 or 100 or something like that. I didn't know if he looked like Gandalf or something like that.
No, he's very, I think there might be a photo of an NPC bank. Yeah,
Good.
the top. He looks like maybe 30s, 40s, maybe a little younger than that. Being the son of Harmony will do that.
Can't believe you touched me there like that. Not even touch me. That's just wrong. Why are you touching me? I did not consent. Screaming that the whole way down.
You hear you hear Renee protests as the front door of the cottage, because it's like a one-room cottage, basically opens up as you guys are sitting at the, I guess for lack of a better table, kitchen table. And Renee comes floating in as if he's being held in an invisible ball. And then as soon as
it's very lawful to touch me without consent.
As soon as the door is
Mom, are you gonna let your son do this to me? I'm being touched without consent. Even if it is just magical touching, it's still touching.
As soon as the door of the cottage is closed, you feel the grip release.
The second Gale sees that Renee is being brought in by force, she is going to step in front of Lyra. She's going to bring up her shield in a defensive position towards Harmony.
Gail, it's
and
okay.
she's going to elbow the oatmeal as she does so.
Gail, it's okay.
Roll a unarmed strike, I guess, to see if you can hit the oatmeal kind of with your elbow. Not really a high DC.
Or maybe, just out of curiosity, would Lyra get a chance to dexterously move the bowl out of the way, make it like...
Yeah, if Lyra wants to save the oatmeal, you can make like a dexterity check, we'll say.
She's holding that. She's trying to go. Was already going for the oatmeal.
Okay, you can roll. I'm gonna say roll a dexterity saving throw, actually, because you're trying to save it from falling.
It has an arch nemesis, and it's Harmony.
And so, Gale definitely kind of elbows the bowl of oatmeal, and it clatters onto the ground.
Before it makes it to the ground, how far away am I?
It's
20 feet, right?
Oh god, yes, it's not a very big cottage. Easily. You're like...
They're real quick to catch it before it hits the ground and try to do that whole slide the bowl around and catch all the oatmeal as they're falling separately.
I think you can easily...
I'll do a dex check or an acrobatics check if you need it.
No, I'll say your mage hand, which is, as a arcane trickster, invisible as well. Yeah, because you can still do things while you're restrained. I don't think you're restrained anymore. Never mind. It catches the bowl of oatmeal, and so but it had already kind of flipped over, so now it's just like the warm oatmeal is sitting in midair, but there's a bowl on top of it.
I will try to do the slow turn of the hand, keeping all the oatmeal, as much of the oatmeal in the bowl as I can, and sneak it up on the table behind Gail when she's not looking, but in front of Lyra.
Sitting there, like, wide eyes, holding an empty bowl of oatmeal.
I'm gonna say...
I can sleight of hand that if you want.
No, I'll say you can do it. Gale's pretty focused on Harmony. You didn't hear the bowl clatter, Gale, but
What trouble did you get into, Renee?
Nothing.
I just Xander just clears his throat. I thought it might be prudent, considering what you've all been through, that things were discussed about things you've learned and what you plan to do next. Because I assume you're not going after them again.
No. What did we learn? I learned that the afterlife is hard to remember.
I learned that. I feel like they weren't trying to kill us.
What?
No.
So I went unconscious once, and then I came back, I think, and then I can't remember.
That doesn't sound like a friendly interaction to me. I'm not too quite sure on that one, but I'm pretty sure that the guy with the sword was trying to kill him.
Lara actually wants to take a look at the mark on her wrist and see if dying and coming back has done anything to that.
You look, it looks the same. Good call, though.
Hey, Mr. I forgot your name already now that I've died. But like, because you did that little curse on me that I have to be part of the party, and but I died. So is that still in effect? Do you need to renew that?
No, it's not in effect.
Oh, all right.
No. But I can put it back if I have to.
Alright, I mean, I choose to be friends with y'all still. That's alright.
Very good choice. Thumbing through my notes trying to figure out. We never did find out what it was, the paperwork or anything. Did we get any paperwork out of those guys?
You got which is actually in yours and Striss's private chats, you got that map, which I think...
That's where it was.
Yeah.
I'm looking through my notes going, I know there's something around.
Yeah. And you learned about the location of where the cult's temporary quote-unquote headquarters is, because apparently they move around. How frequently, you're not sure. So you learned it's in Cerelia right now. And based on the map, you can infer that certain marks are chains that have been broken, and certain marks are chains that have not been, along with little bits of information that the cult, from the cult's perspective, what they believe to be true about each location that's unbroken.
So, how did y'all get us out of there? Like, 'cause you got me and... Well, that must have been really heroic. I'm so thankful for y'all.
Than anything else.
Yeah, sure, but I mean, like, it had to be because you are so wily and wise and your big muscle. You and Stress, both y'all.
I mean, the fight was
Did I say Stress?
not going well.
Gail.
The fight was not going hysterically well. Quentin was the only one up when I came back to myself.
Did you wait? Like, did y'all kill the attackers, or like what happened? Like, that was quite a mess. I thought we were chasing them. Why? When I mean that I'm sure we were quite wise to do so, but they seemed like they were quite ready for us.
It's not so much that they were quite ready for us, it's things didn't go well.
Bad luck. Like it started with bad luck and ended with good luck.
You could say that.
That's wonderful. I
We
mean,
also worked
anyway.
at our best.
Say that.
Anyway,
Not to mention we weren't at our best either. We had something earlier that day.
I was watching all y'all. You are doing so good. I thought you were doing great, honestly. If you're saying that was bad luck, I mean, you got at your bottom, you're at the top.
Well, I mean, more like I have all my spells.
Oh,
I will
Right.
fly over to the table and Gail, do you have the map or do I?
I think Renee had it because you would have showed it to Aurelius.
Yeah, I think I handed it off because Gail can't read.
That's
I
what it
pull the
was.
map out and I lay it flat out on the table and say, it was a heavy cost. Did not like the outcome that we paid to get this information. This is what we have. And I lay out the map and I start pointing out the, you know, the notes. First, I'll point to the one that we've already been to in the Crest Plains and say, well, here's the one that we visited that's still intact, and we know the defenses are good, and that their defenses have been beefed. This one down here, and I'll go down to near the Restless Peaks. I don't know what air shepherds are. I'm hoping you locals do, but this is the one that this is one of the ones we haven't been to yet. And then I'll swing over to the Cecil and Jungle. Am I saying that even closer right? Probably not.
Close enough.
This one here is more, they've got this one marked as the least guarded, but they have not gone here yet. You'll see the two that they've broken already, or they've got marked as broken. They have only broken two, right?
As far as you're aware. And Xander says, as far as I'm aware, yes.
This is a third location in here in this jungle, and I think Professor, Goddess, y'all got somebody you can send down to that area, because it looks like it's not very well guarded, and we might want to get somebody down there.
Yeah, well, I will have to speak to the royal family. I'm not sure if they even remember about it. And Lyra, when Quentin mentions the air shepherds, I'd say growing up in Chelier and in your family, you would know of the shepherds of the elements and the way the elemental planes are most accessible around Chelier due to the magical chaos centered on the kingdom. And so you know that the air shepherds are the ones that protect the air elemental rift. But yeah. And
And we'll say as much.
If
okay.
you look over here near the Zafflin, next to this place called Fall Hole. Isn't there another Fall Hole? I thought I'd seen that name somewhere else on a map. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, if you look over here somewhere between these, the peaks here is one that is in Thalia, and evidently they think the queen will help them with it. Or they're trying to get the queen's assistance, maybe. I don't know. That's something we should probably look into. The one that bothers me, honestly, the most. If you look at Cerelia, north of Shiloh, they've got an area marked that is their current base of operations. Is it still there right now? I don't know. We've killed some of their people. They may move it. I don't know. But just the other side of Shiloh is another one of these chains, and they haven't done anything with it. which makes me wonder why they've come over here to work on these when they've got one right next to their base that they could do right away.
Is it possible that that chain is also already broken?
It's
That
possible, but this is their note, so I'm assuming not.
Xander actually puts up her fingers and says, if it had been broken, there would have been a similar indication as the other two. And it's very loud and visual.
Oh yeah, because I was gonna ask if that was maybe post-dated, because then you would know if it was an old note or not. But if there's a big bang, then you know.
Now, forgive me, I'm still really rusty on some of this. I'm only semi-breaking down whatever these say. This language is a little different for me. But if I'm understanding the gist of this, basically each chain is holding a part of their one true God's form.
Believe
Sorry,
it.
your goddess-ship. This is not my words, theirs. Please don't smite me.
She just looks at you strangely and confused. And Xander says, I believe it's, from what I understand, it's holding, each chain holds a piece of the phylactery of the Lich. I believe.
So their goal is to break all the chains to collect these pieces so that they can bring them back.
Indeed, I believe. Because I believe they have to bring the pieces all together in order to do the ceremony that would resurrect the Lich as Liches do.
Professor, I'm new to the area. I'm only kind of learning things, but my feeling is Sorelia is kind of on its own program and doesn't work well with others. Not that it doesn't. It's not that they're bad. I mean, I hear that the other end of the map here, the Thalians kind of do their own thing and are not. They're a little more aggressive about it.
Sorelia, he just.
Where Sorelia is more like a isolationist, you stay away from us type thing.
He just smiled and says, well, both Sorelia and Thalion are of a bit of an isolationist policy, you could say. You can't actually, without specific permissions, portal into or out into either kingdom outside even at a port. There's even portal houses with portals there. You have to receive special permission. It's a nightmare, really. I'm not sure how Langsworth does it. Oh, that's right. He's part of the government there. Anyway. Sorelia is...
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, boss.
Sorelia is a very heavy naval-based kingdom based on the smaller islands. The navy is matched only by cavias, and they potentially, at least they say, it is superior to cavias, but it's been yet to be proved.
Let's not try to prove that this week. I've got enough on my plate already.
Yes, I'd rather not have another war among the kingdoms. The Atemnity War was bad enough. But Chase Langsworth, Professor Langsworth, as Lyra knows him, is probably the easiest for, if you'd like to get in contact with, based on the fact that I work with him, and Lyra's been taught by him.
Here's my thoughts on this right now. We're kind of y'all's pawns right now, and we fought their pawns, and their pawns were really, really good. Us going to their base is probably not the best idea in the world right now. I'm getting the
No.
feeling from the way Cerelia is, to get the kind of forces that we need from other countries to join Cerelia and go to this place is not going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Let's just call it a diplomatic nightmare. Fair?
That's accurate. I can say that if we inform the Cerulean Council of Lords about this danger to the chain, Cerulia is a kingdom wholeheartedly focused on hard work and protection of its citizens, so I have no doubt that their chain is probably much more well defended than Relarians, but we can definitely double check on that with the Council of Lords, and I'm certain their magical forces and what they have of land forces can shore up its defense. And
that was going to be my suggestion, is instead of going for their base at this point in time, because not knowing who is in this cult, not knowing who's not, I'm assuming you're not, Professor, because you're here with your mother, and your mother is a goddess. So I'm figuring you guys are kind of anti-Lich.
and that's
And that's a very good thing. Don't get me wrong. I don't think I'm thinking wrong on that. I don't know in Cerelia who in their Council of Lords would be pro-Lich. I would hope none of them, but, you know, I'm from the Fae. We do this kind of stuff on purpose all the time. I think we tell them about their chain, and about their chain's risk, to let them get up their chain. But Professor, I was hoping you might know someone or something that can be as sneaky, or, well, a whole lot sneakier than me, that can watch this lair. Watch their headquarters while we try to be honest, the four of us need to get a hell of a lot stronger too.
that training would probably be smart on your part, yes.
So while we are getting trained up and we are making moves to stop them and slow them down, because I don't know if we can stop them completely, while we are doing those things, we need to have somebody in these mountains that Cerelia won't know is there, that can keep an eye on this headquarters and tell us when it moves, and hopefully maybe where it moves to.
I'm not sure that Cerulia is going to know if someone not of their kingdom is there, I assure you. They've got wards against such thing. However, they've got a very sophisticated, from what I understand, spy network that could probably do what you're saying and keep an eye on this headquarters location.
Again, I like this, but it scares me because these cultists get into places that they're not supposed to be in. That's why I was trying to beat around the bush on this, but I'll just come out and say it. Hey, Goddess, mind going and keeping an eye on this thing for us? You're the only thing I know strong enough to get around all the stuff at Cerelia.
She chuckles and says, "My dear," and you do notice that, like, her form, while it's very much corporeal, it still has that slight, kind of almost slightly transparent look to it. Like, you can kind of, if you angle your head just right, kind of see through her as if she's not entirely there. And she says, "My dear, if I were to leave or expose myself while I'm not at my full power, Chaos himself would be sure to come for me and destroy me, and then the world would be the worse for it.
And I get where you're at, and I can understand your concept.
However, there may be a way around that. And she kind of looks at Ricky, but looks at all of you. When, which I believe Zender said you call the Battle of Dradell, happened, and Chaos and I were ripped from that place rather forcefully. From what I understand, a piece, and what I felt, a piece of our essence was left behind. Now, from what I understand, and she looks at Xander, who kind of nods, that said shards were somehow, we're unsure of how, moved from that place and hidden away. I can feel that piece of me, that piece of my essence. It's out there, but it's faint and I'm assuming protected. Now, if you were to find this piece of essence, I can only assume it must be in an item. This must be the only way they could have moved it. And return it to me, I could become whole, and then I could wholeheartedly help you protect these chains.
All right. And like,
But,
I'm kind of like your agent, so I'm supposed to do stuff like that for you, right? Like this request that you're making, like a godly request.
You could say that.
And
You
I'm
can-
all my friends, so you're gonna help me with this, right? Because I died for you, not that I'm
Ricky,
holding
Ricky,
that unconsciousness.
1 second. I get what you're saying, Goddess, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I have not familiar with you all in this world of yours, but I am familiar with other gods and other godlike beings. Once you have this piece of you, what are you going to do?
Help you destroy this lich, of course, and just prevent him from coming back. I only want the best for Atemnity.
And I know this, but after that, what are you going to do?
Make Atemnity the best it can be.
In other words, you're going to destroy chaos and equipoise.
I wouldn't destroy my child, which is strange that happened, but Chaos is a being that the fact that he exists is abhorrent. But I'm more concerned with the well-being of Atemnity. If he were to make moves against it, of course I would defend it.
She wants her power back so she can go blow another crater in half the continent.
Are we like debating with a god right
No.
now?
We are discussing with a goddess, and Ricky, I know you're looking at me like, wow, what the heck are you doing? Trust me, I've done this before.
You can see that.
Yeah, I've done this before. It's just as not fun now as it is then.
You've done this before, huh? Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah. That's good. The experience makes us all.
It makes a painful world. No, it doesn't.
I don't know.
Anything.
Harmony kind of turns to you, Renee, and says, I don't know what it is about these other gods that you know about, but I can assure you, I am quite different from them.
And allow me.
I was once mortal, after all.
Allow me to rephrase. I'm not saying. I believe that what you want is best. For in your mind, you see it as the best way.
I don't.
I believe you believe that, but I also experience has taught me that life without a little chaos is a very, very dangerous thing.
That is naive, but
It can lead to a level of intolerance that is just not good. But too much chaos is the same way.
either way,
Either way, but
I am not whole, and
you know,
I am a living being. Is it not unjust that I am forced to live like this? Not full, not whole, not completely here,
Would you say the same for chaos then?
I suppose.
Say the same for all
yes,
the dead in the fields of Drydow. They don't even get to be here.
Gail, not helping. I'm not helping either, but that really not helping.
Do you want to call chaos and then we can all yell, like we all have a little conversation together? It seems like we need to work things out.
Yeah, have y'all, Harmony, have you ever tried to sit down and talk things out with Chaos at all?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Since-
saying. I'm on the same
Since the big fight?
I think some chaos.
Chaos is not a being that you can talk to.
And I only ask because you said it yourself. Equipoise is what?
Apparently, our child of some fashion. It's
And that
a
would
mixture of our power.
be both of your children. Your child so both of you would be the parents.
Unfortunately,
Man, I can't believe you abandoned your child. Like you haven't been keeping in contact. It's a broken family.
they are their own being. When they were created in this incident, it created something else. I'm not entirely certain what they are.
I just feel uncomfortable when you call it an incident. It sounds like your child would probably appreciate if we called it love, right? Because it had to be. Because you were attracted to each other and you were pulled together. and like
Attracted to chaos. Me.
Ricky, those were
No.
wrong words, buddy. I'm just gonna kind of duck under my wings as Harmony goes about whatever's about to happen.
She just says, "Dear sweet child, there's no attraction of any kind to that man."
See, now, when I was just little wee, I like my little friends, they would all say things like that, and they always, they would slap each other and bite, but then they would kiss. They would always kiss.
That would never happen, I can assure you.
Start sliding slowly under the table.
Anyway, that being said, if you want to restore chaos, and from what I understand, Equipoise gave up a part of themselves as well. If you want to restore their essences as well as mine, so be it. But I
Would
can.
Chaos, you've known Chaos a heck of a lot longer than we have.
Millennia, my dear.
Would Chaos find the Lich as a more present problem than anything? I'm assuming you find the Lich more present a problem than Chaos?
Put it this way. Chaos is a lingering and ever-present threat that has been a thorn in my side for millennia. This Lich is a boil. Something that can be eradicated with the right degree of power.
So you don't see the Lich as more of a, in your current state, a knife at your throat instead of like a poke in your side.
It is a threat for certain because in my current state, because if this Lich were to come to power in my current state, it would be very difficult for me to defend against him. Chaos as well, I assume, because he's in the same state. So yes, in that sense, I suppose it is a more current threat. Which is why, if you'd like my help, restoration is, and making me whole is really the only way that's going to happen. Because if I travel far from this place that has been protected magically and otherwise, and shielded, Chaos himself would find me and destroy me, let alone this Lich.
Even with, so Chaos, forgive this question, again, new to your world. So Chaos is, the part that Chaos lost is less than the part that you lost?
No, from what Xander has explained to me, it was a equal part. We each lost the same degree, so to speak, of power and essence.
It sounds a little romantic. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anymore.
Thank you.
You're this convinced that Chaos is going to kill you and you can't kill Chaos first?
He is a vengeful one and has
But she said.
followers that would assist him in this. I'm not entirely certain what he's been up to, but I cannot take the risk.
Understandable, Goddess. I want you to understand. I think very highly of you. As goddesses go, you're top shelf in my world. Okay. I don't mean any of the things I'm saying to sound incredibly disrespectful, though I'm sure they do. That's just the way I talk. It is something that we'll have to see. And I, to be honest, I don't even know how we go about finding it. So there's a whole nother level to this nightmare, because we'd have to do that while at the same time trying to stop all of the other stuff, and we still need very much to train.
Yes, it's a mortal problem, or a young problem. That's just the most I can say. Is it's dangerous. I'm certain Chaos would try to say the same thing wherever he's hidden himself. It's dangerous for us to leave this our sanctums in this state, which makes retrieving our essence inherently difficult.
Well, in that case, I suppose we have to be pursuing other options. This threat is moving quite quickly. It was only a few weeks ago that we first encountered them, and already they've unlocked even more chains. I don't suppose we actually have the time to be able to go and find both a harmony essence, an equipoise essence, and a chaos essence to keep the world in balance.
I guess
and return them to their respective sanctums.
I guess.
A lot, but I'm just curious. Am I even allowed to say no?
I mean, you're allowed to do what you wish, but you do owe a debt. But you are allowed to say no.
So what sort of like contract? Like, what is my responsibility?
Become a magical girl.
You are representing Harmony and trying to grow her flock.
Yeah, I get to be magical girl though?
Lyra, not helping.
Hey, we're dead buddies. We get as much as we want.
That I don't know. Anything is possible. I mean, you were saved by a goddess, so I'm sure it's possible. I give like the worst eye roll ever seen on this planet as I say those words.
I was gonna lean over to Lyra and whisper in her ear. In my time, it was rumored that Harmony would grant any wish in return for becoming one of their followers.
Wild.
So I don't have to do the essence thing, but you're suggesting strongly that it's a wise idea. Is that right, my highness? Your highness? My highness?
I mean, I suppose there'd just be one way to fulfill the debt, but I'm sure there's a million other ways.
Right, yeah, I could build a church. Would that count?
It's more...
Start a harmony rock band.
It's more, that is a start, but it's a minor truffle, and the boons I could grant you are such that greater actions would be nice. And as she's saying this, Lyra, in your head, you hear Miss, and you recognize it as Elias's voice. Miss Natalie, Candace has information regarding the reconstitution and binding of the chains. If you can return soon, it will be most agreeable.
Okay. We'll be there as soon as possible. Currently in Avragil.
High level negotiations.
Well, if your rooms are as good as your oatmeal, I'm fully absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and this is just, again, outside looking in. I would say that, Ricky, what we're looking at here is this is going to, the essences are one of our possibilities. We will keep an eye out and see what we can find out. We can't, I mean, even Goddess herself can't tell us where, go to this house and knock on the door and they're there. So we're going to have to learn.
These are high grade, like top tier investigators. We aren't going to have any issue finding the essence if we see it. She's like a hard weight.
I have the utmost faith that you must know of someone that has information regarding what happened to them.
Know anyone? So if you're assuming that, are you like, is that a wink to me, telling me that I actually know, or are you just like shrugging your shoulders?
Xander actually pipes up here and looking at Lyra says, I'm sure Miss Kinsley here might know someone to talk to about people that would know more information about what happened at the Battle of Drydell.
That said, though, that is something that'll be one of the courses we have to look at. We also have to look at finding if these chains are either rebound, the ones that are broken, or finding ways to ensure the safety of the currents. Professor, you said you can talk with the professor that's from Cerelia and get them to back up and protect their chain, right?
Yes, I can talk to Chase easily. He's one of the more logical members of staff. Easier to talk to.
Really, I
get
find
you
him
to
quite
do
annoying.
that one.
I'm sure you would, Miss Kinsley.
If we can get you to do that one, that'd be great. That takes that one off our plate. We can go back and get with the kings and the queens because we've got our royal writs and work that we're doing for them, and get them to send troops and forces to protect the others. We can get that started while we start our training, and while we're training, we can do research on the chains and this and the other thing, and also these objects or these missing parts of the gods' powers. We can do all that while we are training and learning and making ourselves a hell of a lot stronger.
Speaking of the chains, I actually just got a message from Elias. Candace has more information for us.
Ooh. It gets me to a strange question, Goddess. I know Aquarian is an area that's kind of weird with magic.
From what I've been told, yes.
Do you have the ability to do a group port us here to there?
From what I remember of the area, it is actually no wait. Sorry, retcon that. I'm trying to remember how that happened. I believe.
Sorry, it just got away from me.
Yep. Let me check a quick note on that, because that's actually a important note. How and why it was formed.
Because I'm assuming the professor doesn't have that ability, since nobody else can really port into Aquarian.
I'm just trying to figure out if Harmony would actually know about this and why it is the way it is. I'm going to say she actually says, oh, she does not know, I'm going to say. This is not something that she was privy to or really noticed or realized. So she just says, oh, what is wrong with porting there?
It was just a little funky.
Yeah, that's more a you question, Lyra. I don't understand your whole porting thing anyway. We call it teleporting where I come from.
It just gets a little funky. Apparently. You can't come in, but you can leave.
Actually, technically, you can't even portal out to leave. Every time you guys have left has been manually.
Like fly out
or walk out.
Was it because the one guy, so we must have walked out and then he portaled us?
Yeah, I think so. You walked out of range, basically.
Well then, Professor, if you don't mind, can you group port us to Doncaster? And we can hopefully maybe steal a dragon from them to get over to Aquarian?
I highly doubt you're going to be able to borrow one of the royal dragons. I can port you.
A while ago.
I'm certain that was a special case.
I wanted to do it again.
From what I understand, the dragons of Cavia are magnificent. I can portal you to Caulfield, however, which is much closer.
That would work.
Alright. Are you ready to go then? Is everyone eaten?
I just need 5 minutes real quick, and then I'm good.
Alright.
Okay, y'all chit-chat. I'll just be 5 minutes. I'm counting right now. 1, 2, 3. Ricky goes back into the bedroom where he had woken up. And finds Lacrame there. Closes the door, and they have a little bit of a private time before they both come out together. Lacrame is like wrapped up in like a really thick quilt. Ricky's got like this huge bundle, and Lacrame's snout is just poking out. That's it. Okay, I'm ready.
I will say to Ricky, you do notice, well, she's still relatively small, that Lacrame does appear to be have grown a little bit more.
Okay.
She's starting to get a little bigger.
While that's going on, I fly over to Harmony and say, "Excuse me, Miss Gaddis, can't I just
Harmony.
get outside for a second?"
All right.
Ask the goddess to go out for a smoke.
I mean, let's be honest. If we could do it in real life, like
Oh, yeah.
Talk to a
people would,
god.
like, yeah, smoke with the god. Yeah.
She just says, of course. We can take a quick stroll around the garden.
How far you can go? Just the garden. I just would like to talk to you alone for a second.
All right.
Purely personal matter.
Sure. And she starts walking towards the door, holding up a hand to Xander.
Look back to everybody else. Say, I'll be right back. Nothing. This is a personal thing. I got to get something. I got to figure out. Okay. Sorry. I'll tell you all about it later once I get the answers. And I follow her outside. And as soon as we're alone in the garden,
She sits on like a little bench.
can you go inside my head?
Potentially. Why so?
I keep hearing my queen's. I've lost my memory.
Oh.
Not looking to get that memory back. I mean, I'll take it, but I mean, that's not what bothers me. I keep hearing my queen's voice in my head, and I don't know why.
Queen. You're Fae.
Yeah,
Although you are Fae, and obviously partially from the Feywild, but there's something kind of familiar about you. Yes, it's strange and interesting. Anyway,
I've heard that before. No, I didn't know if you had the ability to go in and maybe see if there is something of my queen inside my head that I don't know about.
I could.
And I'm assuming every time I say my queen or Mab, I'm getting that little ringing voice thing in my head that I've been getting recently.
No.
No? Okay.
She said, well, I could certainly search your memories and see if there's... I could either search your memories and see if there's anything, some lingering presence, or see if I can possibly restore it that way, or I could also perform a restoration spell on you to return any potentially magically lost memories. The choice is up to you.
I will. I may be putting this on. I will let you decide what you think is the best course.
Well,
I don't want to put my mind on this.
I do find that having missing pieces of memory is rather inconvenient, you could say. And
My memories aren't so great, so. But yeah, I can agree with you on that.
I think we can attempt a restoration. And she kind of pulls somewhere in her robes, there's not much to them, you're not sure where it came from, a diamond, and just holds her hand and kind of glows and just crushes it to dust, and kind of says, have a seat. It's a little difficult with you hovering there.
I plop down on whatever toadstool is nearby.
There's a...
I went toadstool for a fairy effect.
Sure, there's a toadstool. Why not? It's cute. And she just kind of sprinkles this diamond dust over your head as she mumbles some words. and performs a greater restoration on you. And as she touches the top of your head, as the diamond just kind of dissipates, and quote unquote burns away, so to speak, like a bright light, you suddenly find yourself kind of thrown backwards off the toadstool at the force of these. It's kind of like a rushing wind almost. The force of the return of these memories that it always felt kind of like a little foggy, a little hazy, just a block, like it bothered you, but whatever. And as you're kind of laying on the ground, you suddenly remember being taken from the streets of Arctis Tor by the Winter Court, taken before Mab, and tasked with stealing a ritual book for a cult that had invaded the Feywild for some reason, and Queen Mab wouldn't have it. It didn't sit well with her. Seems, from what you understand, you were chosen at random. Actually, no, never mind. Sorry, you didn't hear that. That's the wrong color. My bad. Color-coded notes, man.
All good.
You didn't hear that. Anyway. And you remember sneaking into this it was kind of like a cave, but maybe like an old mine shaft. And you remember grabbing this tome that was a little large for you, but you could kind of tuck it under your arm. It's just a little bulky. But on the way out, you were caught by these cultists that you now recognize as similar to the ones that you fought recently. And you remember them casting some sort of spell on you, because you remember not remembering little bits and chunks over time, like as if several modify memory spells were cast over a few days. And then you were taken from the Feywild, because you remember passing through a portal. And then the next thing you know, you remember the waking up in the tomb in Stonehill. And the memory of the tomb and the smell and everything comes back to you, you're able to open your eyes and sit up if you'd wish, and you see Harmony actually kneeling on the ground next to you, looking a little concerned. Oh dear. Are you alright?
Yeah. I still don't remember I don't remember before my time in Arctis Tor, right?
I'd say you just remember being in Arctis Tor, I'd say from very young, as if you were taken to the Feywild very young. So you weren't old enough to know anything before, type of thing.
Gotcha. Yeah. Do you sense any compulsion or any other forms of magic on me, Goddess?
What can she do?
I'm sorry, Harmony. Goddess is a term that I've been taught to use, so forgive me if I use it and it's not right with you. I'm sorry.
It's whatever. It's something I've grown used to. It's strange, but I'm just a being. What can she do? Let me think. I'm gonna say she kind of places a hand on your head, and you just feel like a kind of warmth wash over you. Kind of like stepping out of like not quite a hot tub, but a really warm tub. As the water's kind of like draining off, and it just kind of washes over you. And you just see her eyes closed, concentrating. I don't, other than that mark on your wrist, which is dark indeed and almost akin to chaos. No other real influences, so to speak. Just a mark. Believe it.
What happened to the book?
You just last you remember is they basically took it back from you.
Okay, I just didn't know if I hid it in the Feywild or if they
No.
took it back from me.
No, they caught. I'd say you remember getting caught like as you were exiting the, we'll call it, mine. And she says, although that mark, it's definitely, it's like it's attached and marks your soul. It's interesting. Kind of scary, really.
Okay, just you and me talking. I dabble with the arcane. I'm not anywhere near a wizard. But ever since I started talking about this mark, I've had a feeling that once all these pieces are together, they're going to be using our souls to restart the phylactery.
That sounds like something a lich would do, I assume. Use the souls of the innocent.
Purely a guess, but I'm assuming when they break the chains, they tie our souls to the phylactery piece, and once all the pieces are together, we'll all suddenly die to repower the phylactery and give the lich his soul back. Seems something an evil necromancer type like would do.
It sounds
Purely a guess, though.
Sounds solid to me.
That's why I haven't said it to anybody else.
It's definitely scary.
Thank you for helping me, Harmony. I've connected the dots in my head now that give me a better idea. I'll have to talk to the others and tell them, I guess there's a book that we need to find.
Now, tell me, would you like to know more of where you come from, what you're touched by, per se? It's a world I visited a handful of times when I was searching for what would become Atemnity.
How do I phrase this? Is it going to help with what we're doing right now?
No, I suppose not. It's just knowing where you come from, I suppose, but that's very wise.
For now, because it'll just... I know my brain. I'm already kind of off going, a little piece of me is already thinking about this. I don't need to put any more of my brain onto it.
Well, the offer's there.
But I may...
I know a little bit.
If we get this all figured out, I may talk to your son into bringing you back.
I welcome your visit. And she kind of
I
like...
give a full leg bow in the air.
She's still kind of kneeling on the ground. She kind of gets back to her feet and kind of nods her head. Was there anything else you wanted to talk to me about?
No, I wanted to make sure Mab wasn't holding more of a power on me than I thought she was.
I suspect that what I know of Mab, I've only been to the Feywild a handful of times. It's a really wild place. I
Rokish grin at that comment.
I suppose it's just like any archfey. They have their tricks. So she might. I am unsure. I don't sense any influence, but who knows?
At least now I have a better idea of how I got into this mess, and that actually is something that might be able to help us.
That's good to know, yeah. Now, maybe you can tell me. The armored one that seems very protective over Miss Lyra, was it?
Yes.
I sense she's much older than she appears.
Now, I'm not 100% on this because, again, I'm from the Feywild. This is me visiting Mirrell's world, so your history is a little off from my understanding.
That's fair.
But I believe this battle that you were talking about, or this confrontation between you and Chaos, that created your current situation, either she was a part of that one or one of the battles around that time and was killed.
Interesting. I suppose that would explain her demeanor towards me.
There's and it's not just towards you. She's honestly, she died. She's a little butthurt towards both you and Chaos at the moment.
I suppose that's understandable. It's
Lyra was there, was part of her coming back. I don't understand the whole process. I've heard of stuff like this, but I've never actually seen one of these people. But Lyra was part of the reason why she came back, and she's grown a very strong attachment to Lyra as kind of, the ultimate bodyguard.
Apparently, it's very noble. I do wonder what side she fought on, but that's neither here nor there now. I know there's many mortals that fought in mine and Chaos's name. But that is negative, neither here nor there. Yeah. If you ever want to know more, I only know so much. Do tell Xander, and we can chat.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
She nods.
I guess we better get back inside because I think we need to get going.
Alright, and you go back in. While that was happening, I will say Ricky and Lacrame come back in to the main part of the room as Renee and Harmony come back in. Gail and Lyra, were you doing or saying anything?
I've got something.
But
Okay.
Lyra can go first. Lyra was probably just trying to sneakily eat the oatmeal. She's hungry.
Damn it, Lyra.
You roll a sleight of hand check there, Lyra. See if you can sneak bites. And you can roll a perception check, Gail, because you're definitely looking.
When did that close? Give me a second or two.
You rolled 20 close.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's like, all right.
It's like I'm back in it. Right, I'm launching the game.
Okay.
If you can beat a 7, I think you're good.
I don't know. I have a -3 right now.
That's true.
I mean,
Anyways, the weather we're having.
What did you want to do? While we're waiting for that check, what did you want to do, Gail?
So Harmony's kid.
Xander.
Yeah, Xander. He's still in the room with us, right?
Yeah, he's kind of sitting, watching you curiously. Occasionally, like, and just taking spoonfuls of oatmeal. Yeah, you see Lyra every so often trying to steal a bite of porridge and slap her hand away.
Yeah, you're not getting the porridge.
Lyra's hand is just so shaky with hunger.
It's actually sad. I feel kind of bad now.
No, you fed her. You gave her pellets.
You rejected them, though.
Anyway, what did you want to do aside from keep swatting Lyra's hand away, Gail?
Yeah. So, Mr. My mother was a goddess, and the best I could do is apparently a school teacher.
Oh, damn.
Lyra absolutely loses it there.
He just sits up. He just kind of sits up straight and looks at you. It was a choice. It's not the best I can do. It's a choice.
I don't actually care about your life decisions. What I do care about. Have you ever met your half sibling?
Equipoise, you mean?
Yeah. You know, the divine one versus, like, you and the school teacher gig.
No, not particularly. They went into, I guess you could call it hiding, protective hiding somewhere after giving up a piece of their essence, I guess. I'm not sure that they're really a half sibling. Well, I guess they kind of are. That's complicated. Anyway, no.
They went into hiding?
It was the same as my mother in chaos, I suppose. Protection.
So, theoretically, there's 3 mystical cottages with 3 divine beings spread across the continents?
Something like that, I suppose. I am unsure of where the other 2 are.
And your mother never thought to, I don't know, reach out to the other being and contact?
That is not something. Put it this way. My mother is a strong woman, and the fact that in some way, shape, or form a part of her got mingled with chaos and created life, something. I'm not sure anyone really knows what equipoise is, per se. Is not exactly something she likes to discuss, nor seek out. And trust me, when I was quite a bit younger, a child really, when I first discovered who I really am, come to think of it, it's something once I learned about basically what equipoise is or how they were created, I asked my mother about it, and she did not want to speak of it. It was a sore subject. But I'm sure you can understand, having created something that's a mixture of yourself and your mortal enemy would be a tough subject.
story of your birth also a tough subject?
I was born how long ago? Few hundred years ago, I believe.
I'm just curious about who managed to woo Harmony.
That is not exactly something I have asked. I was raised by a man. I'm not entirely certain he was my father, but I was raised in the wilderness and lived off the land. He passed away centuries ago at this point. But from what my mother has said, he was a devout man and a kind, peaceful man. Exalted the qualities that she values. I value, really.
Well, that was far more boring than I was expecting. But thank you for sharing.
It's, my pleasure.
It didn't really strike me as a rebellious sort.
I was expecting, like, the heroic, fight against love. We can't be together. I am a goddess. Oh, but I love you so much. And then, one fateful night. And then he realizes, oh, I have to leave. I cannot be like this. And she keeps going on and on and on.
I think you've read one too many books, Natalie, my dear.
Yeah, she had the whole, like, hate-love relationship with Chaos and the kid from that relationship. So, like, frankly, she needed to have a boring kid, you know?
Boring to you, perhaps. But actually, I'm not entirely certain how old you are. Gale, is it? I assume, from what I understand, a couple centuries at least. I'm much older. When you get to be my age, it's difficult to find things that are actually exciting. Things you haven't seen.
So what I'm hearing is you're the older brother.
Yeah, who's older, you or Equipoise?
Sorry.
Pardon, sir?
Who's older, you or Equipoise?
Technically me, because I was born before the Battle of Dreadale, obviously.
Ah, so you're the oldest child. That makes a lot of sense.
He just shakes his head, and I'd say it's about then that Harmony and Renee and Dr. May and Ricky walk back into the room, and you're all back together again. What would you like to do?
Let's get out of here.
Alright, so you wanted to go to Caulfield, correct?
I think Gale said Kansas.
Where's Kansas?
No, Candace?
Oh, Kansas.
Oh, I misheard you.
And so he's like, follow me, we just have to walk out of the clearing a little ways. Everyone has everything they need.
Can I get some oatmeal to go?
Harmony is like right there and like a little. Fuck it. There's Tupperware. Little couple Tupperwares. You kind of push it into your hands.
Thank you. Very nice to meet you. Maybe we will see each other again, or maybe not. But
Do you want the
very nice to meet you.
Tupperware back afterwards?
Keep it.
So hold on to it. We can return it another time.
Or do we like? Can we like leave it in like a temple to Harmony, and like you'll get it that way?
Yeah, does that work for you?
Do what you wish with it.
Alright,
Good
alright.
slap.
This is a test.
Professor,
Hmm?
forgive a little guy. The magic I'm used to works a little different than y'all's does. Do you have to send us to one of those little portal houses things, or can you just put us anywhere?
I have to send you somewhere I have physically been that is not warded or otherwise dangerous to form a portal in.
Have you ever been to Aquarium?
That I have been there, yes. However, that is one is
On the road, a little close. I mean, outside of the portal area, but I mean, not instead of like in Caulfield itself. Can you take a day or two to travel off for us?
I'm not certain I know of a particular landmark.
I figured it was like
Let me think.
where the road forks.
I guess that's a landmark. I suppose I could do that. It's a little touch and go, but
Well, you touch, we go. That was a joke.
You have my consent.
he just walks out the door, and I assume you follow.
Yes.
All right. I'll say you follow him out of the clearing a little ways. Down, and I'd say he takes you towards where the actual path begins again, and says, "All right, this is far enough." And he starts kind of takes him about a minute of just swirling his, concentrating, and kind of making like he's grabbing something spherical and turning it, and then all of a sudden a kind of like bright kind of yellow light kind of emits from like the middle of the air, and Lyra, you'd recognize this as a group portal being formed, and it kind of spreads wider and wider till it's actually like a kind of nice circular thing, and you can see clear through it what takes you a moment to recognize as the fork on the road on the way to Aquarian. He says, "Well, please hurry fast. I can't hold this open long." 6 seconds.
Zip right through it. You're racing through.
All right. Say you guys easily do that. As soon as you're through, it closes, and you just see a little bunch of bright kind of, well, no, a pale yellow dust settling on the ground where the portal was. And you can make...
Closing and scream, "Thanks, old guy!"
Doesn't even hear you. Or doesn't acknowledge you.
As they get there and the portal closes, Lyra turns to Quentin and is like, he's actually the older brother, so it makes so much more sense the way he is.
Oh, I didn't even think about him being related to the equipoise. That's
Oh,
great.
you're saying... Oh! I hadn't put 1 and 2 together yet.
Whoa,
Yeah,
he's
makes
the
a lot of
older
sense.
one.
He's the older one. That's the one that didn't get the good parenting.
Oh, but
But the way it seems, equipoise is like there must be a younger one, because equipoise seems like the middle child that gets forgotten.
Oh, there could be a secret love child.
There's got to be a baby that is spoiled rotten, right?
You think Chaos had like a kid with a different mortal, or the same mortal?
No, I'm thinking I mean, it's Harmony,
this is
but
getting lewd now. I'm not too sure if I appreciate that.
Not discussing, and we're just discussing offspring.
But y'all were picking up what I was putting down. Like we're doing some matchmaking, right? Like clearly harmony and chaos. They
No,
no.
no. You ever seen what happens when you mix oil and water?
They love each other.
They repel each other. They don't
Oh.
come
Well,
together.
I mean, I was talking about them two. They're not fluids. They're people.
Yeah, but see, they're kind of like oil and water that way. You can get they can kind of surround each other and be with each other for a second or two, but once that, no, they're pushed apart.
I mean, the last time they had, a little lovers' quarrel, as you might call it, that was the Battle of Drydell, and a ton of people died.
Yeah, we may not want to make that happen again.
How explosive their love is. But I do agree, I don't want the genocide.
That said, though,
the
road.
We'll say you're having this conversation as you're walking.
Yeah.
Easily.
As we're going, I'll turn and start flying backwards at the front of the group and say, "So everybody, somebody let me know if I'm about to run into something." I got some of my memories back. It turns out the cult. Remember how we found out the cult had been doing stuff in the Feywild?
Yeah.
And it turns out Mab knows a little something about this and was not very happy with them being in the Feywild. So I got picked to go steal a book from them to take back to Mab. I got the stealing part done pretty good. The getting away part I kind of screwed up on. And they caught me, and things happened, and then I ended up in the temple with you guys.
Are these relatives? Like I'm just a little lost.
The important part of this whole conversation is there is a ritual book out there that I think has a big piece of this, and that might be something to add to our to-do list. Because if we can get that ritual book, we might be able to slow a lot of this down as well.
You're talking about like powerful magic, like you're aware of where powerful magic is.
I assume so. It's a necromancer, so I'm assuming it's some sort of necromantic ritual that's going on.
I knew you were a smart little walnut. I knew it. We gotta listen to this more often. To your left?
Absolutely should.
To your left? To your left?
Oh, shit! And I moved to my right.
Make a dexterity saving throw. Make a dexterity saving throw at disadvantage, as a tree branch is coming up on the side of the road. Yeah, you go to dodge, and you kind of like smack your head and like get dazed for a second.
Yep. Time to look the other way. You got questions as we go.
All right. Anything else? We'll say it's a couple days trek you have, and it's like I said, this stretch of road's a lot safer than most, considering where it's headed to. Is there anything anyone wants to discuss or do on we'll say, couple days travel?
Lyra enchants everyone with her tales of love, and she tells stories the entire time.
Ricky is super into it.
We invent a character who's the child of chaos and therefore the youngest child in the group.
Yeah, but would that really work? I mean, that's the baby. That's one baby's data when the other two are, from the same baby mama.
Yeah, they're all there's like a middle half sibling. It makes sense.
So the middle child is only, I guess, I would think that it would be more interesting to have Harmony have another one, although that is a lot of baby daddies at that point in time.
I mean,
I
you
think
can't.
the holidays
you can't-
get super awkward. I mean, already it seems like doesn't involve herself at all with her youngest child. Can you imagine how?
I mean, it's just one of those things where like Equipoise has to like leave at around noon or like 1 p.m. every holiday to like go to the other person's house.
Or is it like, you know, that split visitation, you spend Christmas here and New Year's here?
That could be it too. But either way, they have to buy gifts for both of them.
They also get, you know, instead of mom and dad giving them one gift, they get a gift from both parents. But I don't know if I want a gift from both parents.
Well, it could be oatmeal.
I imagine at this point, Lyra's probably like has been like eating bits of her oatmeal from her Tupperware throughout the days.
Wait until Gail goes to sleep
So we'll say you guys tell stories and chat throughout these couple of days journey, which will knock Lyra and Ricky down to -1 by the time you reach Aquarian. So you can change your feats to that. Unless there's anything else specific you guys want to discuss anyway. Or do.
That was the big one.
Alright, so we'll say on the, I guess it'd be the third day of travel, early morning-ish, we'll say you are walking into Aquarian. Are you going straight to Candace's office, or are you making another stop?
We're riding them up.
Yeah, the morning of the third day, basically. So when the Lyra and Ricky are down to -1.
Straight, if it's the morning up, I'm good for walking straight through. Go see Candace and get this over with.
Alright, so we'll say that you can do that. Sorry, I'm just clicking some buttons. And we'll say as you walk into the office, you see Elias in his chair sitting behind a desk working on something, occasionally casting a spell of some sort. Look up and go, you're here. I'll go get Candace. And he kind of pushes out from behind the chair and wheels out of sight. And returns a few moments later with Candace in tow. Her walking kind of briskly. And she says, yes, it's good. I'm glad you've made it back. We've had developments regarding to rebinding the chains, which is oddly enough a slightly different ritual than the original binding, of course, because it of course requires retrieving the pieces of phylactery that were taken from the broken chain locations, but it's going to require an immense amount of power. And of course there's no guarantee that someone else isn't going to break it again, but we can rebind them, and we have the knowledge of what we need to do for this ritual. Is there any other information that you have gotten that would help us? Oh? Oh?
Yeah. Just TLDR. It's too long didn't read for aware. I don't know. We kind of had a run-in with some of the guys who were doing this.
Oh.
It was a tough fight. The two of us went down and we were able to bring them back.
Died.
But, yeah,
Oh.
I got better though.
we were able to retrieve information. We've got a map. We've got some other information. They also, through the assistance of another power, I got my memories back, and I have another piece that might help. That I suppose we should just all sit down and talk about it. We can do it twice, or you can get the king up here. We can do it once.
Yes. And she looks at Elias and says, "Already on it, boss." And you just see him muttering something under his breath, and then waiting a moment, nodding, and turning to everyone and saying, His Highness says, His Highness King Platt says that he can be here. He's a little busy in Doncaster at the moment, but he says the earliest he can be here is tomorrow morning.
Okie dokie then.
Works for me. Candace, did you want the full rundown now, or did you want the full rundown with him?
Perhaps it might be easier if we unload to each other all at once everyone's here.
Got another side question. Sometimes we have my world has got ways of talking to each other over long distances.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they use like a crystal ball and they can kind of see what we're seeing, that type of thing. The other royals that we got involved in this, do we want to bring them in on this as well?
That's a few too many ears. I think we can disseminate the information that each requires as once we have all the information.
It's your world. I was going to let you make that call.
The fun fact about our enemies, they can kind of travel through shadows. They kind of turn into goop when they travel.
Oh yeah, they do that.
Interesting.
Turn into goop when they die.
Very interesting.
And they're very
I don't suppose you got a sample of this goop?
I probably would have pulled a sample, but the goop like disappears, doesn't it?
Did it? I can't remember. It's been a while. Been a while.
It's been a while. That's why I'm thinking.
But to be fair, you were also quite concerned with the fact that 2 people died.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was also a little busy with other things.
It might have actually disappeared. You're right. Yeah, I think it probably disappeared.
I don't remember.
We'll say it
No one
disappeared.
has any still between their toes?
Yeah, I feel like it would be in Gale's armor, because Gale would not have cleaned her armor while Lyra.
Yeah, I feel like it probably would have disappeared. You're right.
No, fair.
Makes sense.
After a bit, I imagine.
Yeah.
Like 5 minutes, just kind of goops into the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say it
Turn to
disappeared.
goop, and then the goop just kind of poofs.
Well, that's concerning. Yeah, I think the rest of this report might be best for when His Highness is here.
I just thought that part was kind of rather prudent.
It is rather prudent. You're right.
What if, someone pops up out of, a shadow? It's like, hello, and we're like, oh no, and then everyone dies.
Yes, we'll have to,
Very traumatizing.
we'll have to, figure out how to defend against that. Shadows. Anyway, you were
Very bright lights.
good idea. And she's just like looking at Ricky. She's been looking at Ricky like, who are you? The whole time, but you guys have been reporting, so she's just like, whatever.
Oh, yes.
Ricky's our new junior assistant.
Oh,
investigator.
I see.
So your friend
That's right.
walked off into the forest, and we haven't been able to find him since.
He's
Wait, your friend
sneaking
too? There's a lot of friends going into the forest. Oh my goodness.
We're assuming he's making a multi-planar investigation on his own, and will report back to us hopefully someday.
He was an odd one, wasn't he? So I assume you're one of the victims of the Everagile chain, I'm guessing?
Oh, yes, victim, yeah.
Would you mind if I took a look at your mark? I just want to compare it to what we've...
Nope, I don't mind it. Well, I mean, Quentin, is that allowed? I don't know.
Yep. This is the boss lady who's paying the bills, so she can see everything.
All right, well, here's my wrist.
Elias actually wheels up and looks over as well, and she kind of takes your wrist and then takes note of your totemic mark slightly above and goes, you're Cavian. So far from home. Oh, I suppose it's not really necessary.
I couldn't really tell you why or how. It's a little wacky.
And I'd say this time Lacrame's kind of like peering out from behind like your legs. Oh. You're a Draco Warden of some kind, I assume? Not many have small dragons under their obvious care.
Yeah, I mean, I've never, like, graduated or nothing like that. But, I mean, well, we're just friends, mostly. But I do care for her. And Lacrame is, like, even stockier than ever. Like, low to the ground. A little bigger, but also, like she's almost, like, kind of salamandering right now. And her eyes are very, like, narrowed and cautious of these strangers and everyone we've talked to so far.
She's, there's... Since we have time before His Highness gets here, there's someone who may want to meet you. What was your name?
Well, who, me?
Yes,
Ricky.
you.
Oh yeah, Ricky, Candace, Ricky.
Yes. I believe...
Candace.
Pleasure to meet you. Brunswick, he's got a certain affinity with dragons.
They have to.
I feel he'd be fascinated by this bond you seem to have with this dragon.
I mean, he could ask me questions. I don't know if Lacrame consents to that, but I mean, yeah.
Ricky, Runzi is perfectly good. He's an absolute gentleman. Love him dearly. You'll be okay. Trust me on this one.
All right, yeah, and I mean, I'm not worried about me, but that's fine.
And Lacrame? I don't know if you will or won't, but I get the feeling you'll like it.
The little drake is like, it turns her head towards you, but her eyes just narrow a little bit more, and she just looks fucking grumpy as all shit right now.
Teenagers.
Did you find anything else out about the marks that we have?
Not entirely. They're just... They're powerful. We're not entirely certain what they're going to do, but that we believe if we can rebind the chains, that should, in theory, it's a whole theory, of course, because this isn't exactly something that's happened before, but in theory, they should fade or at least become inert. Should we rebind these chains? They're definitely linked to them.
To your whole spiel on this, you've got a little better knowledge of something we've gotten from a very high authority. Oh, I didn't tell you guys yet, did I? Sorry. When I was having my conversation outside, found out that our bonds, our little things here are directly linked to our souls.
Well, that's disturbing.
Now, because my soul belongs to Harmony now, so how does that work?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
This is getting real confusing.
Amen, Ricky. Amen. I tell you what, that just add to your thought process when you think about these things, Candace. We will go ahead and let you two get back to what you were doing. Ricky, if you want, I'll go introduce you to Runzi. Runzi's awesome. I need to go see Runzi anyway.
Yeah, I mean, sure, yeah. I mean, he's a nice guy, you're saying, and he's very knowledgeable.
Yeah. He's at his shop, right?
He should be, as far as I'm aware, yes.
And he's your friend, so I can only imagine that he's quite the charmer. Lyra and Gail, are you tagging along, or what are we doing?
Probably.
There might be something new in the shop.
There could be.
Don't know
We
anybody
could
else
finally,
needs that.
we could finally find Gail a super cool sword.
Oh, but her sword's so cool as it is, but you also need a cooler sword, absolutely.
This is true.
Then I will turn and head towards the door unless Candace stops us.
No, she doesn't. Her and Elias have already gone back to work. Do I want to leave that conversation for later? No, we'll do it now. So you guys can easily find your way towards Runswick's shop. It's there, same as always, just as magnificent as always. And as you enter, the little bell over the door kind of tings, and you look over and see Runswick glance up, and then smile. What?
As we're coming in, I will use my mage hand to catch the bell and move it out of the way of the door and not let it ring.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Try to sneak it. Then as soon as the door is open without it ringing, I'll go, Rosie there!
Adorable.
Sure, I'll let that happen. Actually, no, I'll let it happen. It sounds cool. He just, like, startles. It looks like he was reading a book or something, leaning against the counter. Startles, looks around. Ah, Renee!
You know me, I had to make an entrance. I'm sorry. Rosie dear, we do want to do some shopping. We're back in town for a little bit, but I really wanted, Candace talked about it, and it made a lot of sense to me. I thought you should meet our new friend, Ricky, and his friend, and our other new friend, Lackerman.
Howdy! And then Ricky goes to, like, gesture towards Lackerman. Lackerman's already, like, slithered along the wall and is, like, climbing shelves. Trying to knock some shit over.
I will say that Lacrame would easily recognize the familiar scent of someone with draconic blood.
Yeah, this is actually agitating her. This is why she's doing this.
He kind of looks around and, hello, little one.
This is common, or
I'm following along behind Lackerman and everything she's knocking off. I'm using mage hand to catch and put back.
He's like, whoop.
It pumps her up. She just, like, goes faster. She's, like, tackling into shit now. He's also chasing after, trying to scramble and catch shit.
He just smiles and says in Draconic, so only Ricky and Lacrame can understand this. He just says, "My little friend, there's nothing to be afraid of."
She immediately halts on one of the shelves that she just freshly knocked down, and her back spikes up, and she like narrows her eyes down towards Runeswick. You're not my father. What are you talking to me for?
I thought that maybe we could have a conversation.
I'm not interested in a conversation. What do you have? Do you have something for me to chew, huh?
I'm sure I could find something.
Give me that and then maybe.
Uh,
Why does she sound like an angry old Russian lady?
It is lacrimae. I mean, that kind of fits.
She just gets older as she gets older too.
You just see him reach underneath the counter and pull up like, what would a dragon like? Basically just like not even. We'll say it looks actually like a kind of like a really large cow's like hip bone. It looks like it might have been in like Renee, you could like easily like quickly zoom over, peek under, and see like there's just a basket of like bones for some reason, and he just places it on the counter. Will this suffice?
You pass it to me. You throw it.
Actually, hold on.
He just used.
Not the hip. This one over here. I point towards like a femur.
He's like, you're right.
I like that one a lot more.
He puts the hip bone away and grabs the femur. Yeah, probably. And he like, you just see the bone float up as he's using his mage hand. It's also invisible, and it just kind of floats over and floats in front of Lacrimae.
She snatches it and then darts to hide behind something big in a corner. And Ricky's just like standing there cringing, and she just turns to Runeswick. She says thank you.
I got that. Quite an interesting little friend you have.
Ricky leans in and like kind of like cups his mouth so that it's like directed away from the corner Lacrimae just hidden. She's a little, just a teensy bit touchy about dying. It's a bit of a sore subject. It's a little weird because we did a little bit of dying ourselves, but you know it's a little
Dying?
Yeah, too happy. Dying, yeah. Like
that's looks towards Renee, kind of worried, and says, "I feel like you have a story to tell. Shall we?"
Story. It's got to be just an epic tale. I mean, I know how the first half went, but yeah, I can only imagine.
What? He just like moves over to the door. You just see like the lock on the door kind of click shut and pulls the blind and goes, "Let's sit down and chat, shall we?" And he says that in common.
Not suspicious at all.
It's just more like, I don't want to be interrupted by whatever the hell you're about to tell me. Anyone gonna...
Tell you what, we do got to do some shopping, so I'll give you the too long didn't read version now. Then later on over dinner we can sit and discuss the longer version. Okay?
He narrows his eyes. You better.
Our Renee and our Gale, so humbled, they just refuse to divulge just the heroics that they've done. Like, it's so impressive. I can only imagine.
And before we start, I need you to confirm that you're not the super secret love child of Chaos and an unknown mortal, correct?
What?
From that.
Yeah, we've done some learning, and it'll be part of the story. You're not like a child of chaos or harmony of any kind. The youngest missing somewhere, but I think you're probably not in the youngest category. Nothing personal, you know I love you.
He just looks so baffled and confused. He's like, not as far as I'm aware. I have draconic blood, so I've got some draconic ancestry somewhere, but as you know well enough, Renee. But nothing related to chaos or harmony, as far as I'm aware.
Beautiful.
All we needed to know.
Just looks at Lyra too, like what?
Quick version.
See, the stories, real life can get so boring sometimes, and so sometimes you really just need to figure out how to spice it up a little bit.
I see.
And also, their whole story was really, really boring.
Okay. Anyway, he turns to look at Renee.
So, Rosie, here's what happened. You know, the second chain broke.
Mm-hmm.
We went to investigate. We got there rather fast. We were riding giant foxes. It was really cool.
Oh, can I tell it? I could tell it so much better. I mean, I don't mean it in like an offensive way, but I could tell it real well.
Yeah, give me a second. We'll get to the part that you come in. You know,
Lyra starts like
Oh, you're
quietly
part.
playing her fancy violin
To
to add in the little light versions of all of the characters and the foxes.
So
I love it.
The air, the light, like burned through the autumn leaves, and
Ricky, wait.
all right.
Let me get my part done, and then we'll let you hit your part where you come in, okay?
But isn't that the part where I go out?
No, we're talking about the part where he has to know all of the stuff that happened before the fight is too.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm giving him the really short version here today.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
We took foxes. We went to investigate. We got there, found another group, which you can see Ricky here is a member of the group that was marked at that chain site.
Just like these my friends here. Were you too?
No, he's not.
No.
So, we our other friend, who you remember, has decided to make a multiplanar trip, trying to find more information. I assume elsewhere. I don't know. He didn't really tell us. He just kind of disappeared.
Interesting.
Ricky was kind enough to assume his position and be a junior investigator with us.
All right.
I'm still learning.
So with Ricky then came into our group, and we found a trail of the cultists leading away from the site. And we followed that trail until we caught up with them, where we had a rather intense battle. They were much more powerful than I thought they'd be.
So there Renee was on the ground, bleeding, screaming, as I ran, but like bravely though. And I ran in with my bow out, and I pow, 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 and I was firing, and this cloaked figure was going to drive his deadly blade down onto your friend Renee. But then
the whole time he's doing this, Renee is facepalming.
My arrows
Runs looks enthralled.
right into the hand that held the blade, and they began running. And Lacrime was also like in there, just gnawing and biting. And then I look behind and I see our friend Lyra, and she's like taking on like 3 of them at once and swinging and making explosions, and it was crazy. And then Gale's in there swinging as well. But I try to go help, and I actually don't see. This is what I wanted to tell the beginning part, because at this part it kind of just went black for me.
So anyway, we fought 3 of the cultists. It was 3, right, or was it 4?
I feel like there was 7.
It was 3 or 4.
There was more than 3.
There's 4.
Were able to take them down, but Gale was unconscious on the ground. Our friend Ricky and Lyra had both their lives had been removed from them at this point in time. as
Was
well
it
as
like a sword or arrows or like or did they do like a shadow explosion on me? Like how cool was it when they? But I went down hard, right? Like in a really cool way.
you look glorious going down. Trust me.
That's awesome.
Anyway, I was able to bring Gail back to consciousness. We collected uh,
Wait!
friends.
You didn't tell the part how you killed them. That's the best part.
Yeah, that we'll do that. I'll do that later when it's
So
when
humble.
me and Runzi are
So
having
humble.
our own time. We collected everybody up and we went back to the site after collecting our information from the bodies. By the way, they can travel through shadow, and when they die, they turn into goo that like evaporates away. It's really kind of disgusting. Once we got back, we talked to a couple of people in what is the name of that place? Everett. That's it. Some guy who runs the group of runners or something like that. They call him. I can't remember everything.
Watchers?
Yeah, the Watchers. That's it. The guy who runs the Watchers.
Alright.
Can't remember his name right now.
I'm not sure.
He put us in touch with Professor Numbnuts. Lyra, what's that professor's name?
Hamoa?
Professor Hamoa.
Professor Hamoa. Are you familiar with Professor Hamoa?
Yes. Intimately. Well, not intimately. No.
Okay. I can't really. We'll talk about that part later. Then he took us to his mom, who's a very powerful thing.
Okay.
His mom was able to help us to get our two friends back to life. And with that, we got word that Candace had stuff for us here, so we came back. So we've got a bunch of information to give the king in the morning. Blah blah blah. But that's the long short. That's the too long didn't read version of the story.
So humble.
Interesting.
And he can tell that I'm not. I mean, it's Runzi. He knows I'm not telling everything.
Oh yeah, he didn't like looking at you, kind of concerned, but not saying a word. Which is, well, that's quite the tale. We can talk later. He looks at you, Renee. But you were saying you wanted to do some shopping.
We are going to need to power up. The fight taught me that. Well, I did. I kind of pull my cloak back and spread my wings wide so you can get a good look at my new leather armor. I did get an upgrade to help some.
Interesting.
But we'd like to get. I think what we're thinking of right now is getting Gale a good sword. I thought maybe you'd be able to help with that.
It's possible.
We got a lot of. We need to get stronger. That's what I learned. We're the king's pawns, and the cult's pawns were stronger than we were. And I don't think we need to go from being pawns to being knights and rooks.
To be fair, on like a scale of like 1 to 20, we're like around a 6.
You see,
They were like around a 10 or a 12.
I mean, everyone needs training. He just starts to think, and then he kind of pulls a ledger out. He's kind of looking through it. Sorry, as I look through a list of items.
Oh, I did learn this cool new skill.
You use a long sword, right, Gale?
Let me check. Yep, longsword.
Okay.
Lyra, are you gonna brag? You gonna do the bragging? You earned the brag.
I was saying, yes, I did actually learn this new skill, and then she will focus really hard and poof on the other side of the room.
Oh,
Just like those shadow people. Really, really freaky.
interesting. That's kind of looks at Renee. It's very
Fayish.
fayish. Interesting.
Gesundheit.
Did we have that part of our conversation yet? Because I can
Uh,
do that tonight.
I believe we discussed it a little bit, but
Also,
we can talk
some of
later.
memories back.
Ah. See, we have. Sorry, I'm just looking for an item. There it is. Yep, that works. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. Oh, maybe it is. Sorry. Yeah, that works. It actually is very thematic. He kind of is going through the legend and goes, yes. I'll be right back. And he kind of steps behind like a little beaded curtain. And you kind of hear him rummaging around a little bit in the back before he returns with it looks like a black sheath with the hilt of a sword, black leather wrapped sword. Very simple looking hilt poking out of it. And he kind of lays it down on the counter in front of you and kind of pulls the sword out, and you can see there's an inscription. Other than obviously Lyra, does anyone else speak Elvish?
Weirdly enough, Gale does.
Okay, I'll say like you know enough that you can there's an inscription in Elvish along the blade that says simply "Stand against darkness," and it's kind of got like the black leather wrapped hilt. It kind of continues down the blade a little ways, and looks like a really rather simple longsword. He says, "Now this sword, I believe, was discovered." Actually, I'm not entirely certain where it was discovered. It was brought to me some time ago, and it is a simple weapon, but one that is, if you say they work in shadows, this could help. It's called Stand Against Darkness, and it is a blade that you can use to emit bright light within a certain radius. And while it is emitting this bright light, it will do an additional amount of radiant, holy damage when you hit something with it.
Now, this is the crazy thing. Gale, weren't you doing that? Like, wasn't your sword, like, brightly lit and you were swinging at those cultists and they were like, no! And you were just really getting them with that.
Yeah, like, I think that's a paladin thing. I mean, it was effective.
Now you might be able to use it without using your paladin skills. And then you just add them on top of it. Pew, 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 and then have lots of light.
Can I just have it glow twice as bright?
Doubly bright. I love
I
it.
assume if this is a skill you have, it'd be overlapping light, I suppose? So it'd be very bright?
Can Gale give it a try, maybe? Or, like...
You'd have to obviously sit with it a while for it to really unlock its powers, but if you say that they're working in shadow, and since you all are working against them, I think it's the least I can do than to provide a sword such as this to fight against the shadows.
Oh, definitely. We are definitely against them. I wouldn't understand why anyone would want to join them.
And I think, hold on. Oh, crap. Gail, we screwed up.
How should we do that?
Give me your haversack real quick.
I'll hand over the haversack.
I'll reach into the haversack and I'll pull out the 3 suits of studded leather plus 2.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we need to use those.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, Ricky, here.
Oh, wow. Death gift.
Lyra, here. That gives us an extra set of studded leather plus 2. Or an extra set of studded leather armor that is magical. That I will throw in my sapphirite baseball and barter for the sword.
I was going to say that's not necessary, but I'm not going to turn down a trade.
Runesy, you know I care too much for you to not at least give you something. I know we cannot give you what it's worth, but I don't want you to completely lose out.
And Lyra will have the armor, but she'll be like, but my armor right now has the whole necrotic against, anti-necrotic thing going on.
Trust me, this is better.
The anti-necrotic thing is the only reason I lived as long as I did.
That's a good point. My leather is just leather. It doesn't glow like that at all.
So yours is infusion.
Can we move that infusion?
Technically, it's something Damien did, so you could have Damien enchant or put the infusion into another set of armor. Technically.
I think it gets complicated with +1 and +2s because they're already magic items, so you can't infuse them, but
yeah, it's I'd let it happen. It's a little powerful, but it's not too terribly bad. I don't know.
We just need to make you a little harder to hit, and I think this armor will do a better job of protecting you.
Let me read something.
Why not just, like, switch it up to, like, your mood?
You'll have armor that changes based on your mood.
Yeah, the color and the whimsical ribbons, like, or maybe it gets kind of sulky.
You like my ribbons?
I love your ribbons.
Thank you.
I don't think it matters. Just reading the artificer's rules behind it.
We'll hold on to this. We'll hold on to this one, and we'll figure out if we can make it happen. I just think this armor is very good and will help protect you better than what you're wearing.
Yeah, I can definitely carry it around. Maybe
we'll leave it in the haversack for now. And maybe we can get Danny to pull the magic on it too. I don't know. We'll see. But I will give these 2 items to you, Runesy, to make up for it.
Oh wait.
All right.
No, you got. Yeah, I gave you a studded leather plus 2.
Okay, yeah, that's because that looked real fancy, so I will take it. Thank you.
I'm gonna say just at a game that looking at the artificer's thing, it says it turns a non-magical item magical, but it does not specify that you can't infuse a magical item. And I don't think just giving it +2 armor resistance is too terribly bad. If it feels a little overpowered, we can alter it later, but I'd let that happen. We can worry about that later. But, yeah. So he offers you this sword, Gale. Do you take it? And
Heck yeah.
alright, you can search for Stand Against Darkness in your inventory. It should come up. There'll be a little H in brackets next to it for reasons. It is a green uncommon item. And we'll say, as you guys kind of barter with that, and we'll say Gale can attune to her sword, and you're chatting a little bit with Brunswick before whatever dinner Brunswick and Renee want to have later. I think we'll end the session there. However, time wibbly wobbly next session, but we'll make it work. I'm gonna say you guys actually level up.
Woo, from training?
Yeah, basically.
Trying.
Fighting back.
And there's been a lot of good like roleplay and stuff too. I'm gonna say, just because it's kind of fun, let's roll hit dice at least, so we know what everyone's rolling, and then we can re-roll ones. And people can decide if they're...
3.
Oof.
Hey.
Great, but I will take a 5.
I believe if you're still doing Paladin Gale, it's D10, I believe.
Okay. How do I do that? Just roll a d10?
Yeah, there should be the little D20 icon on the bottom left, and you can select the D10.
Or you can slash roll.
Or that. And roll 20, one of the two.
I love 7.
Yeah, I know what you just got, yes.
Yeah, baby.
6.
That's not bad. And Ricky.
I'm a D10, right?
Ranger is, yeah, I believe it's a D10.
If you go to your hit dice thing, it'll tell you.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot about the hit dice.
Yeah, I think Ranger's D10. Nice! Okay, so yeah, you can put those in there, and yeah, so we'll hopefully pick up again next week. Because, you know, life. But yeah. Alright. Yeah, we can add that in next time too, because let's say you're kind of... Time will be a little wibbly wobbly with the whole leveling up thing, but yeah. Try to decide who to raid. Yeah, you get invasion rogues. And Lacquer May becomes a medium creature, and Ricky can now ride her. Not when flying, but actually technically that means she can fly too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.